Over the past couple of years, I have made many videos about various Apple ecosystem setups at different price points, and I've been astonished to find that lately you can get a perfectly functional Apple ecosystem for as little as a few $100s. But I think that we can do better. See, normally when I make these videos, I pick a Mac, an iPhone, and an Apple Watch or an iPad to round out a setup. But today I wanted to buy every single product category that Apple offers. So we've got AirPod, HomePod, Apple TV, iPad with accessories, absolutely everything, all for under $1,500. So let's see, can you actually live the full and complete Apple ecosystem lifestyle for less than $1,500? Okay, let's move everything else out of the way for a second. But of course, the foundation of any good budget Apple ecosystem has got to be the M1 MacBook Air. This is one that I've already had because quite frankly, I couldn't be bothered to go and buy another one. But you can get these now for about $400, and that is the set in stone starting point for our ecosystem. So let's just go by random boxes because I don't know which is which. What do we have here? Oh, we've got an iPhone. Now, one of the core aspects that I wanted to apply to this ecosystem was not compromising on the things that matter. The Mac and the iPhone were the first two things that I picked out, and this Sierra Blue iPhone 13 Pro set me back $350. Let's see if it's already charged. It is. And I'm very impressed with the condition of this device so far. The screen looks very good. The rails don't have a whole bunch of bruises. There is a little bit of goop on the volume buttons over here, but for $350, you're still getting a device that I think is quite usable. The reason that I wanted a 13 Pro was for ProMotion. I frankly can't go back. Now let's get to the rest of the unboxings right after a word from today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Sunseeker and their new Orion X7 lineup. Between X7, X7 Plus, and X7 Pro, they're pushing the boundaries of lawn care. The X7 lineup delivers completely hands-free mowing thanks to a suite of mapping and navigation technologies that means Sunseeker can do the work for you. Their AO Navi positioning and navigation system uses precise GPS coordinates, local visual SLAM, and on-device cameras to create an accurate AI-powered map of the environment. From there, X7 plans the most efficient route through the space. Its onboard vision cameras make obstacle avoidance a breeze, and X7's powerful all-wheel drive system means it can handle tricky terrain with ease. It's capable of climbing up to a 70% grade, which is really impressive and makes it a lot more versatile than other robot mowers. Sunseeker also went to great lengths to protect your lawn. Smart steering reduces friction, their floating disc technology adapts to terrain, and dual-action trim ensures precision with minimal grass stress. With dual blade cutting discs, you get 14 inches of width, and it can adjust in height to give the perfect cut from 0.8 of an inch all the way to 4 inches, so you can pick the perfect length for your grass. X7 can mow up to 3/4 of an acre, X7 Plus can mow 1.5, and X7 Pro can handle an astonishing 3 acres. So no matter how big or small your lawn is, the X7 lineup has something to suit. Plus, operating at only 60 decibels, it is super quiet. And with convenient features like returning to base for charging automatically and rain sensors to avoid weather and more, these are the ultimate hands-free lawn companions. So to learn more, check out the link in the description below. A big thanks to Sunseeker for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get back to it. Okay, so here we go, and well, not exactly a mystery what this one is. Now obviously an Apple TV was not super duper high up on my list of priorities, so I decided to go for an Apple TV 4K second generation. I paid $85 for this, and it is supposedly brand new? Wow. It sure looks it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this should be a Lightning USB remote. Yes, it is. Okay, so we don't get USB-C for $85, but hey, as long as it's not the old style Apple TV remote, I'm really happy with this. $85 is not bad. Now, of course, the Apple TV is only $130 new, but I needed to save a little bit of money, so I think we got away with it. It is kind of weird to have a brand new product show up in one of these Apple ecosystem setups, but there you have it, a brand new Apple TV 4K. Sounds like Christmas came early for me this year. We've got some nice fun wrapping paper on this one. Oh my gosh, 672 micro LED tree lights. Just what I always wanted. Look at that. Whatever this is, it's in box. Oh, it's the AirPods. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I am very suspicious about this one because this was right towards the end of my budget. I did not have a lot of room to work with on these. So these are AirPods Pro that I paid $45 for. And that's a little alarming to me. I am more than a little suspicious about putting used AirPods in my eardrums, so these are gonna need quite a bit of disinfecting. I mean, they look like any other used pair. Oh, did they? Oh no, they didn't give me the other ear tips. I was thinking maybe I could get away with that. I'm not using these ear tips. I'm gonna figure something out. I might have to go to an Apple store and buy some ear tips because I'm not putting that in my head. But hey, theoretically, working AirPods Pro for $45 sounds like a good deal. All right, I wanna do the big box. This, I'm pretty sure, is gonna be the HomePod. Ah, indeed. Okay, very minimal packaging here. We've just got some newspaper. There you go, HomePod. No box for this one. This is a first generation HomePod, and I paid just $140 for it. But now that I see it, I can see why. Yeah, it's a little dirty. Yeah, we'll see if we can go ahead and clean this up just a little bit, but frankly, I would rather have a slightly dirty HomePod than save 40 bucks and get a HomePod mini because these just sound so much better. Okay, so if my math is correct, then this should be our Apple Watch. And that was my biggest revelation from my most recent Apple ecosystem video, is that you can get a very decent Apple Watch for almost no money these days. And we've got some more creative packaging from our eBay sellers, shout out to that. But this should be a Series 6 Apple Watch. Oh, and look at this, I got a blue one. And surprisingly, this one comes with its original Apple Sport Band. Normally I find that people will sell their Apple Watch with like a knockoff third-party band, but this is a real one and it's color matching. And honestly, the condition looks good. Again, it's definitely gonna need some cleaning. There's some sticker residue, some weird goop. But you know what, guys? I am not complaining because I paid $65 for this Apple Watch. Can you believe that? And look at that, it booted. That's a good deal right there. All right, now we're getting down towards the end of the unboxing here, and I think you know what that means. This has gotta be our iPad. And honestly, I was pretty excited about this one because obviously my goal was to get a 2018 or newer iPad Pro. That's the baseline standard. And frankly, I'm surprised that it's still supported in iPadOS 26. What I wasn't expecting though was that I would be able to find a 12.9-inch iPad, not just an 11-inch. But I don't know if it's gonna be any good, so let's find out. Whoa. Hey, this is actually in good shape. I was really expecting this was gonna be very, very scuffed up. A lot of the cheap iPad Pros are a little rough around the edges, let's say. But this one actually looks really nice. How much did I pay for this again? Wow, $348, ladies and gentlemen. Boom. That's actually really tempting. And to be able to use iPadOS 26 on this thing, I'm very excited. But I wanted to get a full iPadOS experience now that it's getting a little bit better. And that means I'm not gonna just use it bare on the table like this. So I had a little bit of money left over in my budget, and I bought this. Oh God, there's another bag within a bag. Boom. That's a Magic Keyboard. Ooh, it's a bit dirty. Hopefully we can clean it up a bit, but I don't know what I was expecting. I paid 60 bucks for this. Not bad. A 12.9-inch iPad Pro with a Magic Keyboard, if you bought that new, that would be like 1,500 bucks, the entire price of this ecosystem, which is kind of nuts. Oh, why is the iPad already set up? I didn't do that. That's very suspicious. We're gonna have to investigate that further. But hey, look at this. I bought the entire Apple ecosystem for 1,500 bucks. And actually it was slightly less. I came in $11 under budget. Just $1,489 gets you a MacBook, an iPhone, an iPad with a keyboard case, an Apple TV, a HomePod, AirPods, and an Apple Watch. That is everything that you could want from the Apple ecosystem, all for less than the price of a 12.9-inch iPad Pro with a Magic Keyboard. That's pretty incredible. So let's do a little bit of investigation and see how everything works together. When setting up an Apple ecosystem, I always tend to start with the iPhone because it's kind of the home base of operations for setting up everything else. But I quickly discovered that my 13 Pro was on iOS 17, so the first thing I needed to do was update it. And while that was going on, I decided to update the iPad as well, and then we'll clean that keyboard case because it was a little bit nasty. Now it's kind of difficult to clean this rubberized surface, so I wasn't able to get all of the smudges out, but at the very least, I was able to get the actual dirt and grime off the surface. And then while the update was continuing, I did the same treatment for the iPhone. Now this one wasn't really that bad, and I am very impressed with the cosmetic condition of this 13 Pro. It just took a couple of minutes to get it cleaned up, and then I was able to check out what we've got going on. It's a 128 gigabyte phone, and we've got 85% battery capacity remaining. That's not ideal, but for $350, I'll give it the pass. And so now it was time to move on to the Apple TV. Now, I have an older LG OLED TV, and this is honestly one of the better TV operating systems, but even so, it's still full of sponsored content. It's a really unintuitive layout, and there's all these other junk apps that nobody wants. So the Apple TV really is the way to go. Whether your TV is brand new or 10 years old, you really can't go wrong. It's dead easy to set up, and having the ability to AirPlay, use your phone as a remote controller instead of this horrible remote that you get with your TV, I really do think that an Apple TV is a no-brainer for any setup. So the next thing to set up was our Apple Watch. Now for $65, one of the most incredible things about this Apple Watch Series 6 is that it will be supported under watchOS 26. So you've got a full year in the future of software updates, and quite frankly, running on a version or two outdated of watchOS isn't a huge deal. And then it was time to give it a clean. This thing was a little bit dirty, as tends to happen when you wear something on your wrist every day, but it cleaned up really, really well, and the condition of this watch is actually astonishing. There's not even any scratches on the screen, and that's the #1 issue with the aluminum Apple Watches, so I am really, really impressed. And once I got the watch all set up, I found out that it even has 95% battery capacity for $65. I know I just said that the Apple TV is a no-brainer, but this might be even more of a no-brainer. So the next thing to do was set up the HomePod, and here I ran into a little bit of trouble. It seems like the seller that I bought it from didn't reset the HomePod, so when I plugged it in, it just said that it couldn't connect to the internet. So I googled the HomePod reset procedure, which is just to unplug it for 10 seconds, and then plug it back in and hold the top for 10 seconds until it beeps 3 times, but I could not get that to work. But then I found a Reddit thread that said if you hold it just for 5 seconds, it'll work, and sure enough, we're off to the races. I was able to get the HomePod paired. Now I'm going to be using this first gen HomePod to replace my blue HomePod mini, so let's see how the audio quality compares. Yeah, holy crap. So I set both of these to exactly half volume, so that gives you an idea of how much louder, bassier, and clearer the full-size HomePod is. And for $40 more than buying a brand new HomePod mini, I'm gonna say it again, it's a no-brainer. But what might not be a no-brainer was the AirPods Pro. These things were sussing me out, so the first thing that I did was give it a deep clean. I sanitized the entire case and the earpods, and then I popped on some new ear tips. Okay, I think I finally got these clean enough that I'm willing to put them in my ears. I'm still on the fence about $45 used AirPods, but if these sound good, I mean, talking spatial audio, noise canceling for less than $50, it's kind of tempting. Apple put this song in WWDC 2025, so that's my listening for the day. I wish I could bring you guys inside here to hear this, but honestly, I'm impressed. Because for all I know, these could be 4 or 5 years old, but they sound pretty good. Obviously, I can hear the difference between the first gen AirPods Pro and my second gen with USB-C. They're a lot newer, they aren't as worn out. So you can definitely tell they don't sound quite as good. But for less than 50 bucks, honestly, if you can get past the whole stranger's earwax and put your own ear tips in it, it's not bad. So I've been using this $1,500 complete Apple ecosystem for a couple of days now, and I have to say my mind is thoroughly blown. Because back when I first started making ecosystem videos 5 or 6 years ago, it was a genuine challenge to find usable, let alone currently supported devices for a price point even as much as $1,000. But nowadays, a video like this is a testament to how feature-rich and long-lasting our modern devices are. Because if you think about it, at the end of the day, none of these products are really all that new. This HomePod came out in 2017, the MacBook came out in 2020, this is a 2021 or 2022 Apple TV, 2022 iPhone, 2018 iPad, and a 2020 Apple Watch. And yet, all of these devices are currently supported. All of these devices will continue to be supported in the fall with the OS 26 refresh. All of these devices will be getting liquid glass. $1,500 for all of this. And because you've got an Apple TV and a HomePod, you've now also got the foundations of setting up Apple HomeKit. I have Philips Hue smart bulbs and switches. These things can tap right into that so I can control and automate them through my $350 iPhone that has ProMotion. We've got ProMotion on the iPad, Apple Silicon all around. There's no compromise. But that being said, there are a couple of caveats or things to look out for if you're trying to replicate something like this. And the first one has got to be the used AirPods, because this is something that I know a lot of people are just going to be sus about. And despite the fact that these were really, really cheap and they seem to work perfectly good, I don't know that I can recommend putting someone else's earbuds in your ears. That's a little bit tough. And the other caveat would be the iPad. Now, I'm running iPadOS 26 Beta 2 as of the time I'm filming this video, and it's pretty slow. It's a little laggy. And you know, the iPad Pro from 2018, this thing has been putting up a good fight for 7 years, and it's remarkable that Apple is continuing to support a 7-year-old tablet. But that being said, we are finally starting to get to the point where you can feel the slowdown. Now, will it be this bad at the final release? Almost certainly not. In fact, my M4 iPad Pro is a little bit laggy with these early developer betas. So by no means do I mean to imply that the 2018 iPad Pro is slow, but definitely let's keep our eye on it, and I very much doubt that it is going to get another year of software support. Where you don't have to worry about software support going away is the iPhone and the MacBook and this Apple TV, because Apple supports Apple TVs for forever, and frankly, you've got another 3, 4, 5 years out of both the iPhone and this MacBook. Really, batteries are the main thing to look out for when you're shopping for this type of ecosystem. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're in the clear on the Apple Watch, 95% battery capacity. However, the iPhone at 85 is starting to get to the point where I would consider doing a battery replacement on it. Battery replacements on an iPhone aren't that expensive, so it's not necessarily a cost thing, but it would save you some money to just buy a phone in the first place that is at a higher battery percentage, so you wouldn't have to do it at all. So if I had one do-over for this video, I think it might be the iPhone, honestly, which is surprising because this thing is in perfect cosmetic condition. It's just the battery that lets it down ever so slightly. But I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on this. Is this ecosystem something that you guys could use every day, or in fact already do? Because honestly, a lot of these are very popular devices, and that's kind of why I picked them. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And with that, I will see you in the next one.